and then we could sell them to F1 teams. And then we get 10%, 20% of their contract.
And we're their managers. We have a business idea. Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
That's so Raven. Hello everyone, this is episode 2 of Team Talk, presented by Atlassian. We are here in Atlassian HQ in Sydney.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. We're in Australia for the first race of the season.
As you can tell by Alex jet lag.
Yep. I got in at midnight. I've had 3 hours of sleep.
I went to bed at 10 p.m. I woke up at 3 a.m.
We're like on.
And I've been
we're
like
both
this
jet
since
lagged, but
3
we're
a.m.
on totally different jet lag.
You went to sleep at 4 a.m. and woke up at 8.
Basically.
For me, I'm the opposite.
I was, when you're on like 4 a.m. TV, and it's just the weirdest stuff. Like you're just like, well, like what is there to watch? I can't.
I've been watching Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah,
It's really
good. I finished it maybe 3 weeks ago.
Man, this guy is
yeah.
my new idol. But how can someone be so positive?
I feel like we need to channel our inner Ted Lasso this year.
Yeah, especially you.
Yeah. I was thinking.
I watched the first season on the second flight. It's a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
So 8 of the 10 hours.
Yes.
Oh,
Just
10 hours. First season of Ted Lasso. I
It
couldn't
is
stop laughing for
Yeah.
a good 10 hours.
I feel like I know it's a joke, but Americans know how to talk. Like they have the.
They have the good.
We were talking about this in the car on the way here. They just know what to say.
It's funny, no? Because they do a good. They make a bit of fun, both from the American side, but from the British side, and
it's
they
a good
do.
mix.
It's a good balance of fun.
For sure.
Anyway,
No, I do like that show. Okay, talking points. Because I'm jet lagged, I have to read these now. What have you been up to this morning, Carlos?
I was watching Ted Lasso. No, I'm
Wait.
joking.
But I guess you were. What time did you wake? You woke up at 3:30. You said.
Yeah, 3 a.m. wake up.
And then.
I put on an episode of Ted Lasso to try and fall back asleep.
Yeah.
Which sometimes works for me, having a bit of a distraction, something to look and to fall
I
back
have to
asleep.
listen to like a documentary, like an animal.
Something like that, yeah. That was having the same effect. It didn't work, so I showered. I went down to breakfast, but breakfast didn't open until 6:30 a.m. So I stood there in reception waiting for breakfast to open.
You did?
Yeah, we were both, Rebecca and I were there like... It opened at 6:30, had a massive breakfast, because every time I'm in Australia...
Good breakfast.
But on the mornings, I'm so hungry with the jet lag.
Yes.
It's like the body's craving food.
Yeah, okay.
And then I came here. I've been here for 4 hours now.
Yeah, Carlos has the marketing stuff. What did you actually end up doing?
So I went around the HQ talking to different AI top guys, employees.
Yes.
Trying to learn a bit about what they're doing about AI this year. What else did I do? I did some filming. I did a lot of signing. What else? And I was waiting for you to film this Team Talk.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you good at sleeping in flights? Or no?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was on a Thai Airways flight from Bangkok to Sydney, and I'm not supposed to sleep on that flight because it was I left at 8:30 and I landed at 11 p.m. So basically, you have to stay awake to sleep.
But you did.
But I ended up pretending to be asleep, which made me fall asleep.
So you did sleep.
So I did sleep, yeah.
Me too. I wasn't supposed to sleep much on the flight in because I landed in the afternoon.
Yeah.
The last 3 or 4 hours of that flight,
Yes.
apparently I passed out.
Really?
Yeah. Rebecca was like trying to have a conversation. I was like, I've had really weird sleep paralysis in the planes. I felt I was asleep but awake, and I couldn't wake myself up.
That's
Like this is the first time has happened to me. It's really weird. I was conscious I was asleep. I was forcing myself to wake up, but I couldn't move my body, and it's scary. It's scary. It's the first time it's happened to me.
I have a similar thing, but I have this almost have this three times a week where I'm sleeping, but I feel like I'm not sleeping. It's almost like I'm awake, but I'm actually sleeping. Like I'm so conscious in my brain.
But
And
have you tried waking yourself up
Yes,
from that?
and
And
I
can you
I
wake
can
yourself?
wake myself up.
I can, like, normally I can.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, in the plane, I had one of these episodes, and
Yeah.
don't recommend it to anyone. It's horrible.
You know what is interesting, I think, about Melbourne being the first race is that it's not great for our body clock. So, if you can imagine, the first 3 races recently have been Melbourne, China, a week off, and then Japan. And in that process, obviously Melbourne's a big shift in terms of time zone. We go to China, that's fine. That week off, we go back to the UK, kind of have this middle ground of jet lag.
And then come
And
back
then by
to
the time you
Japan.
get used to the jet lag of Europe, you're back off to Japan again,
And then back to Europe.
and then back to Europe again.
And then Miami.
And then
Which
Miami.
is the other side.
Beginning of the season, immediately gone.
Demolishes you.
Like it destroys you, which is interesting. I think I'm sure it's for everyone in the paddock, but it's a tough way to start the season.
Oh, for sure.
It's something where you really do have to be on top
It-
of
it
your
tests your
sleep.
body, for
It
sure.
does, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one. Vegemite or Marmite? I feel like you haven't had either.
I know about Marmite.
Uh,
I've never
Does-
tried it because
does Rebecca have Marmite?
everyone, I think, in the UK knows. You know, my ex-trainer, Rupert,
Yeah.
now with Max,
Yes.
he used to have a lot of Marmite for breakfast.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like,
The
not
you
going
don't
to
like the
try it.
smell?
I said, mate, you should. I'm
But
like,
you never tried it?
No.
Because
I
of the smell?
refuse. The smell, the way...
In Spain, you like the bocadillo con
Yeah.
tomate.
Yeah, a
jambon.
lot healthier. a lot
Olive
more
oil.
Mediterranean diet, you know. Marmite is not Mediterranean.
Next time, do your tomato and garlic and your olive oil, and then put on the Marmite on top. Have you heard about Marmite and bananas?
Made.
Have you heard about that?
No.
That's a thing. Is it a thing? Vegemite and bananas as well? It hasn't made its way across.
I can understand a banana with peanut butter. Yeah, perfect. But Marmite?
There must be something in Spain. You do not have like sweet and salty. It's not a dish. So like in Thailand, sweet and salty is so. It's
No.
like in everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You ever had like
Sweet and sour.
you like sweet and salty popcorn?
Yes, this I like.
So you're gonna like.
I like more
You're,
salty.
you're gonna like Marmite and banana then.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Offer it.
Okay, let's get.
Offer me a
That's
try.
good because we actually have it here. Okay, we'll go to fan questions now. If you could choose to do one other job in the team, what would you pick and why?
I was going to say JV, but a bit tricky.
Bit tricky.
I think strategist. I would enjoy being strategist.
I think there's a lot of pressure on the
Or,
strategist.
or a race engineer. I think I could be a good race engineer.
Yeah, me too. I would like race engineering.
I think I would know how to talk to the driver on the radio
Me
and
too.
what to say to him.
Yes.
Given the fact that we are racing drivers and we know what we need, the information we would need,
I'm surprised there are not more race drivers turned
race
engineers.
engineers.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they just don't bother. But I feel like
You're right.
there should be.
I feel a lot of, let's say, racing drivers maybe with a frustrated career,
Yes.
they could turn out to
Yes.
be really good.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah.
It's something which. So
Maybe
if you're
we
a
should
race,
create a school
yeah,
of racing drivers converted to race
Yeah.
engineers.
and then we could sell them to F1 teams, and then we get 10%, 20% of their
And we're their
contract.
managers. We have a business idea.
Okay. If you could pick a cartoon character that best represents you, who would you be?
Ace Ventura.
Nice.
Ace Ventura.
can't
Detective
say
de
I've watched
mascotas.
it.
How is it in English when he says
I don't-
detective of Ace Ventura? Detective of.
I don't know. What is
He
it?
has a saying. Pet detective.
Pet.
You would be Ace Ventura.
Okay. I haven't watched the cartoon.
Me neither. I only watched it once and I liked it.
My favorite. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Oliver and Benji. Oliver, Benji.
Is this Tom and Jerry?
No, everyone knows Oliver and Benji, no?
Yeah, maybe in Spain it's
No?
different.
It's a Japanese football soccer cartoon.
Oh, really? That sounds like fun.
Everyone in Spain loved Dragon Ball. I never
Dragon Ball
watched
Z.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Anime was a big thing too. Pokemon. Dragon
I
Ball
like
Z.
Pokemon.
Yeah. To me, it was. I'm going to really niche now. Do you know Fillmore? No.
Mhm.
Fillmore was good. There was this show called Totally Spies. This was like unbelievable. And then, what was like my go-to? What was my like rotation? It was normally them two.
Heidi, Marco. Heidi, Marco. No?
Well, it's like a Spanish one.
Those, I'm telling
Oh,
you.
also Shin-chan.
Shin-chan. I like Shin-chan.
Yeah.
I like Shin-chan. I give you that. You need
Okay.
to see, I had two sisters, so we would also watch quite a lot of
Me too. Three sisters.
female.
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana, Kim Possible.
Kim Possible was good.
Huh?
Kim Possible.
You know the
Wizards of Waverly Place.
you know there was a TV series with
Oh,
sirenas.
iCarly.
How do you say the women with the tail? Mermaids.
H2O.
Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire.
Ye-
That's so Raven.
we're going freak here. There was another guy.
God, these are throwbacks. There was this show on Discovery Kids called Mystery Hunters. Does anyone remember Mystery Hunters? That was unbelievable.
Dexter.
Dexter, Ed and Eddie.
Ed and Eddie.
Ed and Eddie.
Mate, what a great name to a show. Ed and
Oh, what's the one?
Eddie. He's the most.
Ed and Eddie.
I'm gonna make a show and I'm gonna call it Ed and Eddie. What a guy! Whoever invented that.
That was good.
Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo, Tom and I said Tom and Jerry.
Tom and
There
Jerry.
was
I love
also,
Tom and Jerry.
Uh,
You know the
Fairy
The-
Godparents,
the rabbit and the
Looney Tunes.
yeah
What was that show called?
the hare and the coyote.
Oh, yes.
That was good.
What was that?
Anyway, we've said so many.
That was fun. I enjoyed it.
We spend our life in TV.
Sorry.
We watch all of that.
If you, I mean, our show just is that. Okay. If you could choose a current driver on the grid to be a guest on Team Talk, who would it be and why?
A driver,
Yeah.
any of them, I think, would
Anyone.
have their own little story to tell us here.
But who would be the best?
The best,
Like if we could choose anyone today
I mean, for
for the
For
views,
our-
Lewis.
if you want content of that is not allowed to be
Unfiltered.
said, unfiltered content,
Mm.
Max.
I think you have to go to someone who's like totally not like this,
Not like
like
us.
super serious, because then it would be funny to have them talk about their favorite cartoons. Like, but everyone's not that serious.
I would ask maybe a very young guy to see how different we are from
Yeah,
them.
you know who's crazy? Is Gabby.
Why?
Just he's like a kid.
He's a different generation.
Yeah.
You can tell.
He's gonna hate me for saying that, but he is. Okay, I like this question. If you had to go back to university and take a class completely unrelated to your career, which class would you take and why? Don't do engineering. Like,
No, I was because I've been here today.
yes.
I realized how much more I would like to know about AI, and I don't know if it's been taught in universities right now. But
Like
how to
computer
use AI
science.
tools? Like if I would have to take a lesson today, I say to grow
Yeah.
in a personal way, I would take a AI
Mm.
lesson by
That's a good point.
our Atlassian friends, or
Yes.
just try to learn how to exploit AI.
Mhm.
I think F1 drivers in 5 to even less 2 years,
Yeah.
we should know how to use AI for our own benefits.
Yes.
The other day I used AI,
AI is crazy.
but for a meeting, because you remember I missed. You were on the car for the second to last day in Bahrain,
Yeah.
and I couldn't follow most of the day. I was busy doing marketing and
That's
stuff.
strange.
Huh? Huh?
Marketing.
Did
When
I
do we
hear
do
well?
marketing?
Anyway, So I went back to your feedback,
Yeah.
and now we have a tool in the team
Yes.
that summarizes your feedback into bullet points.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it picks all of the things that you say for 10 minutes
Yes.
and puts it into highlights.
Is it able to condense it?
Yeah. And I read it. And I said, okay, now I know what Alex said
Interesting.
and what he complained about.
Interesting.
What he likes whining about.
Yeah. Tim Tams are a famous snack in Australia.
Yeah, I've tried them.
If you had to invent an Atlassian Williams F1 Team flavour that represented both of your personalities, what ingredients would be in it? I think just say your favourite. What would you
I
have?
think
it?
you
I think
would-
Tim Tam kind of has every flavour covered. No, like
You would add a bit of chili to it.
like a chocolate chili.
Yeah. On my side,
Yes, I would.
recently I really like Dubai chocolate.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Some kind of
Yeah, yeah,
Dubai Tim Tam
yeah,
chocolate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, that's good. Do they do that yet?
Let's sell it.
I think you should sell
Send
that
it.
to Tim Tam. I reckon that's got some legs, you know. I reckon you should.
Well, should we? How do you say? Should we say we said it here first?
Yeah.
or
What is that called?
A patente in Spain. A what?
Trademark.
Patent.
Patent.
Patente. You see,
Patente.
Spanish and English is not so different.
Really? Okay. I like this one as well. I'm new to F1. Can you recommend me a must-watch race?
Must watch from the past.
Yeah, I guess. I know which one I like.
Any races I've won. They're great.
Was it Canada 2011?
Yes.
Is Jensen winning the
Germany
race?
2019, where we all went off in the same corner with
That's
the
true.
tarmac.
How did you do that race?
I cannot remember. I think
think you-
points, but I was doing well and I went out in the famous corner.
You know what happened?
In infamous.
I was running like P3 or P4 at the time in the race. First time in the wet in an F1 car, and I was like, "What's going on?" Lewis was coming from behind. He overtook me, and then he went off in the next corner. And I was like, "Look, like I have a train of cars behind me," and like Lewis,
I was stuck behind you.
yes,
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, "Lewis, like don't."
If there's one
Don't-
moment of your career
don't
where you
mess
couldn't
up.
do this mistake, it's now.
I have to overtake him because he made the mistake before the hairpin. And I was like, oh god, I've got to send it to him. And then now we're side by side for like 3 or 4 corners. I think you overtook me in the process.
I was behind you in that
Yeah,
moment.
Yeah. No, I think you passed me into the hairpin.
Vamos.
And then all them people at the end of the race took the risk to go. The ones who were having a bad race
Yeah,
pitted early for slicks.
slicks, and they passed us.
And they passed us.
Yeah, and we were in front, and they
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Good
And Turkey 21 or Turkey 20 was a good race.
What, when everyone kept spinning?
Yeah.
That was a crazy
Um,
race. There was more grip on the curbs. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was like karting. You were just trying to hook the car on the curves. It was,
That was fun.
I enjoyed that a lot.
And then the next year it was the most grip ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that year, unfortunately.
The next year it was like they did something to
Really?
it was the highest grip ever in an F1 track.
But lots of fun. Like
It was
amazing.
really good fun.
Yeah.
Like too
In them
much
cars
grip.
must have been.
But
was
it rained again.
Ah.
But you could run so much balance for the
Really?
wet, like crazy grip.
I love that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other like good races in the past. We're talking about races that we enjoy, but maybe for the fans to watch.
Singapore 2023, I think, is a really good one.
And I think it was a good race, though. It was a tactical race.
That's why I'm saying it.
There wasn't much overtaking.
That was golden era of Formula One.
Golden era 2 years ago. Sure. I'm trying to think of like an iconic Michael race.
Go
ahead.
watch Indianapolis 2005.
Why? What happened there?
Only 6 cars started the race.
Yeah.
It was 2005 or 2006?
I
remember now.
I remember that image so vividly in my head of one of the fans throwing a beer bottle at the Ferraris, and I think it like hit Rubens or something. And he was like going through turn one, and he's just got this Budweiser in his.
I honestly think 2025, how tight was the field, was great.
Throwback. Throwback Thursday.
Always the golden era.
That was good. Do you remember that year, 2025? That was great. Okay, last question. Cadillac joining and 22 cars on the grid. What are your thoughts?
Mayhem.
Yes.
Q1. Oh my god. It's going to be really tricky with traffic, with the battery, with the SLM, with the turbo lag, with the... Tell me more things that we have. This overtake. Well, no.
Tire preparation.
It's going to be crazy. Q1s are going to be wild, I think.
I think that we're going to be in a place where there's going to be a lot of like shocks because drivers can't get their laps in. Things like that's going to be happening.
No. Shocks for the midfield.
Yeah.
Because I think the top 4 cars, unfortunately, last year when one of the drivers of the top 4 teams was struggling, like the second Red Bull, sometimes second Ferrari, sometimes second Mercedes was struggling.
Out in Q2.
They were out in Q1. Or out in
even
Q2.
Q1, yeah.
And this year, having 3-4 tenths buffer to your teammate makes zero difference because I think they'll still make it through qualifying. Now we're moving forward to the Atlassian teamwork question.
I still feel like we don't have a jingle, by the way. We've been waiting for this jingle and we haven't had the jingle yet.
Okay, can I finish my...
Sorry.
And for today we have a special guest asking us this question.
Here we go.
Please go ahead.
Hey Carlos. Hey Alex. G'day mates. Welcome to Atlassian HQ, where I've heard that Team Talk has taken over. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I couldn't let you record from our building without sending in a few questions. Now, as you can imagine, we spend a lot of time thinking about teams. So a question I'm curious about, when you're on the track or when you're in the garage, who is the team leader? And is it a different person? And what actually makes them great?
Ooh.
Who is a team leader? The team leader.
On track, I feel like we are. We dictate the strategy,
I think everything that happens until the session is finished, we are the team leaders.
Yes.
Because we are the ones giving feedback of where does the car need to improve.
Yeah.
How do we want to do the out laps? How do we want to do the push laps? The setup that we need, the front wing, the tools.
Yeah.
I think we can get overruled though.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I think we know,
especially for legality or for team things.
Even strategy, we can be overruled.
Yeah.
And I think I guess that's what makes a team a team. We're kind of.
I think, yeah.
I
think race engineers are leaders also. Because they are the ones that demand setup changes.
Actually, you're right. I think most probably it's actually more the race engineer, because a race engineer will basically have everyone feed information to them, and they are the orchestra. Yeah. They select what comes in to the drivers. So you can imagine if you ever have a headset on of a race engineer, you cannot imagine how many people are speaking to them, and they're quite selective at us and just give us the relevant information that they think we need.
They would prioritize what the driver says, but they have even more information than the driver.
Yes.
Good question. Next one, please.
Second one, when you get a message on the radio, box now, change strategy, push, what teamwork has already happened before that call reaches you? Because from the outside, it looks instant. But I know that call is the output of a whole team, engineers, strategists, data, the pit crew, all moving together under pressure.
I think in terms of strategy, there's been a full understanding of, let's say, the first pit stop. It's in lap 20.
Yeah.
From lap 1 to lap 19, there's been a study of the degradation, a study of when are people expected to pit, and what is your optimized moment to pit.
Yes.
And thanks to all that information fed by tire department, strategy department, they come to a conclusion of now is the moment to pit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work around it.
I think we do a lot of I guess the focus or the execution is in the preparation. So then, for example, on a Sunday morning before a race, we know what push level we need to be at, how we need to manage the tires after a pit stop, what is our plan A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever it may be, and kind of just from that becomes, you're kind of in sync. At least I feel like there's always a game plan, and even if the game plan doesn't fall through, you already know plan B, plan C, plan D. So it's, unless it's like a dry wet race, then it's just then it's just chaos.
Improvising. A lot of improvising.
Yeah. But most races are fairly well orchestrated, and even in the chaotic races, how much information we know about weather.
We try to plan almost too much the chaotic race.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all from me. Thanks for being great partners. Enjoy taking over our headquarters, and I'll see you at the next race.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's nice. I have to say, headquarters in Atlassian are pretty
Impressive, huh?
Yeah.
I like the atmosphere too.
Yeah.
It's so relaxed.
You can't see, we are high up as well.
Yeah,
just the views are pretty epic around here. But yeah, thank you everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed.
And see you in the next episode.
I'm sure we'll see you soon.
I'm sure. Bye.